welcome to Babylon with Vampa. I'm your host, Vampa, and hanging out with me as always is my good friend and pal and co-host, Dad McMahon. What's going on today, Dad?
Nothing much. My friend came over last night and he couldn't stop complaining about his divorce. And I don't have a shoulder for him to cry on.
Jeez, Dad, you sound so heartless. Anyway, my guest tonight is Jeff from Subversive Image. Welcome, Jeff.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Of course, thanks for coming. I really appreciate you taking the time out and coming down to Lair and telling us all about Subversive Image. So, my first question for you is, what is Subversive Image?
Well, it's my business.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an artist, independent artist, and my art has grown from doing print work to clothing,
mm-hmm.
and I make patches and all kinds of things now.
Okay, so you do clothes, prints, patches.
Notebooks.
Cool.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Anything else? Any other types of items that you create?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to do different things?
I've got ideas, but I haven't actually put them into motion yet.
I see. Are they still kind of infant ideas, not anything you can talk about right now, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, I guess, what are some of the things that inspire you and influence your work?
Well, so I started out doing block prints.
Mm-hmm.
So I would hand carve my designs into pieces of wood or linoleum.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say like early block prints and medieval art in particular really influenced me, at least early on. I brought one of the pieces that I carved.
Wow, that's cool.
So this is the death card design, and I printed this on sweatshirts and t-shirts, but it started out as a block print, and I've still got a couple of them left.
Wow, that's so cool. It's like all the detail in it, and it looks really cool.
So this one took me probably like 50 or 60 hours to carve.
Wow.
I've since moved over to doing more screen printing.
Uh-huh.
But if you got one of the early sweatshirts or t-shirts,
mm-hmm.
it would have been printed right off the block.
So is the one that I'm wearing printed like that too?
You got a screen print.
I got a screen print one?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't realize, and this just shows, I guess, how little I know about this, but I didn't realize it was it was that big of an image to start off with.
Well, yeah, most of the time people
Yeah.
do much smaller pieces.
Yeah.
And they put, they're able to put time into that.
Mm-hmm.
And when I work at that size, I can usually turn something around in like an afternoon.
Oh, I see.
Or maybe
mm-hmm.
a couple days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, working at that size, it takes a lot longer.
I see, yeah. So you said that this type of art is medieval, the like black print, or black, what did you call it, wood cutting?
Block, the really early examples would be block prints, or
Okay.
wood prints. Yeah.
That's really cool. So that was going to be my next question, was what is your process for creating as far as like the technical process, but what about the like creative aspect of it with like the subject matter? Because
Where the ideas come from?
Yeah.
So I started doing prints. Actually, I think I'm wearing one of the first prints that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So this one was it's based on a design that we're all familiar with, of the two skeletons embracing.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes back to archaeological dig, I think in Romania, and since then there's been videos people produced of different couples walking behind a screen, and then they reveal who these people are. So anyway, this one has two skeletons and they're stabbing each other. So I thought it was a nice twist on the often like very mushy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. It's not expected, and it's.
A lot of people don't notice it at first.
Yeah, I definitely, when I saw it, I didn't notice it at first.
Yeah.
But it's cool because it's very. I hesitate to say the word cynical because it's like a negative word, but it kind of is, and I like that. I think a lot of us have probably experienced, something we thought might have been an embrace, but it wasn't.
Sure.
So it's cool that your art kind of has like that
An edge
aspect to it. Yeah, and I mean, someone like myself, and I'm sure my audience, like, I see something with a skull or a skeleton, and I go right for it, So to like have that little bit of like emotional thing, edge to it is pretty cool. So did you want to show us some of the stuff that you brought?
Yeah, for sure. So this is another piece that's based on the two skeletons. It's a crop top, and
I love this one. This is like my favorite one.
it's very popular. I just started making those again, and I have a difficult time keeping them in stock.
Yeah, I think that when I asked you about them, you didn't have them.
Oh,
But
yeah.
I'll have to order one. I love this one. This reminds me of my film Murder Pool, just a little bit at the end.
Speaking of Murder Pool, the end scene with the skeletons reminded me a lot of a Vincent Price movie. I think it's The House on Haunted Hill.
Mm-hmm. Thank
the
you.
Final scene with the dancing skeleton at the end. Yeah.
That movie was a big influence on me.
Excellent. Yeah.
That was kind of like, not only was that kind of like, so Murder Pool I adapted from a comic book, but like part of my like want to make that into a film was that scene from that movie, because that's
awesome.
just funny.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so I've got some more skeletons to show you.
Cool.
This is another real popular item. It's the death card hoodie. It's got the death card on the back and a smaller death card on the front with the death smoking a cigarette. And then I also sell the large death card design as a patch. You put that on the back of a jacket.
This is so cool. You can see like all the detail that he did on the like carving in there. And
a lot of people have framed those.
I was just gonna say I might put this in a frame. That's so cool.
I've got a couple of prints on paper left, but like only a handful. Mm-hmm. And I've decided I'm gonna stop printing on paper for the most part. I might do like limited editions on paper, but stick to printing on fabric.
Why are you gonna discontinue paper?
Just because when I give people the option, a lot of times they'll go for the fabric anyway. Mm-hmm. And originally I did it for kids or young people to put on the back of a jacket or whatever, and a lot of people tell me that they've got a stack of patches in a box somewhere. Yeah. But they end up framing stuff like that. Yeah. So, yeah.
I like how this looks like on the texture of the fabric. So I can see that's why maybe people would pick that instead of the paper.
Yeah. I really like the texture too. Texture is like one of the main reasons I really like doing block printing. Mm-hmm. Each print had its own texture. making each one unique, and that's something that I've been trying to figure out how to do with screen printing, but I haven't been able to figure it out yet.
So you're saying, like, when you do the block printing, every time you use that block, it kind of has its own personality. Every time it prints out, it's a little different. But screen printing doesn't quite give you that same individuality.
Yeah, screen printing tends to, each print comes out almost identical to the last. And with block printing, you'll have open areas that don't get as much ink, or you might get some ink smear, or there's all kinds of fun things that can happen.
That's cool. I mean, I guess I see the pros and cons of both, but aesthetically, I think I understand what you mean about that. Like, it's like a snowflake, for lack of a better term, I guess.
All right, so, okay. This one's the Joey Ramone as the Fool.
That's so cool. I love that.
So this design came from a project I do with a friend, making these notebooks. So I do the artwork and printing, and then my friend, she does the binding to actually make it into a notebook.
Does she have her own business too, like a notebook, or is this just for rewear?
Well, yeah, she owns a store in Berkeley.
Okay.
And it's rewear vintage, and it's mostly vintage clothing, but she also makes earrings and notebooks. Yeah, and on this project we work on it together, so we have fun pairing the rock and roll stars with the tarot cards.
That's really cool. Are you or her like into tarot? Do you read tarot? Does she?
I think she's more into it than I am.
Okay.
I think it's interesting.
Can I see these?
Sure. I think it's interesting as far as art goes. It has its own language as far as the imagery goes. The meanings behind the cards and different ways to interpret the different elements on each card. And also the tarot originated like 500 years ago. And back then each town had their own print shop, their own printer. So as the tarot spread across Europe, town to town, there would be slight differences between the cards. Sometimes numbers would be inverted, which would change their values. And then there's also differences with religion, like the first tarot decks had a pope and a popus. Yeah. And the Catholics found the popus offensive, and so she became there was Jupiter for a while, and then there was a lot of different variations. It's changed a lot through history.
What that would have been, maybe the
High Priestess is what she turned into eventually, okay. I think.
Yeah, because I know I think they termed the priest. Some of them are the Hierophant.
Hierophant, yeah.
Yeah, so, and some of them kind of portray him as kind of like Aleister Crowley, like I had but yeah, in different ways. So.
And Aleister Crowley is his influence on the tarot is interesting too.
Yeah, because he has his own entire thing.
Yeah, the Book of Thoth.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very interesting. It's really cool that this is that you did this, because it's like I think what you said about the tarot and how it has all this symbolism and different ways to interpret it. It really lends itself to putting rock stars and musicians into these like archetypes. And I mean, you have Stevie Nicks as the High Priestess. That makes that makes like 100% sense.
Right.
Joey Ramone is the Fool. I love that idea. The Fool is one of my favorite tarot cards of kind of just being on a journey and not, not knowing what's going to happen and not caring. And, I see Joey Ramone as like really embodying that. And what was the other one that you didn't bring with you but I saw on your website? Kathleen Hanna's Strength.
Yeah.
I love that one.
Yeah.
That's the notebook that I would buy. So it's really cool. Are you guys gonna do more different cards with more musicians?
Yeah, I'm working on a couple of new ones right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to give too much away, but Bad Brains is one of the bands.
Oh, cool.
That we're gonna add into the mix. Yeah.
Can't wait to see those.
All right, I got a couple more
Yeah,
things
let's see what
to
you got.
show. So this is another popular design, the Eye of Providence.
Cool.
So I inverted the triangle. Like we're often we see the Eye of Providence with a triangle pointing up.
Yes.
And that typically when the triangle points up, it typically represents it typically represents a phallus. So it would be you'd be thinking of a male god.
Mm-hmm.
By inverting it, I turned it into a female deity.
So this is now a yonic imagery. Awesome. That's really cool. And this is a wall hanging too, by the way. He put this on here, so you don't even have to like frame it. That's invaluable because I cannot tell you how many things that I buy and I love and I have every intention of hanging on the wall, but just sitting like a folder or rolled up in a tube. This would just go boop right there. One and done. So very thoughtful of you for that.
Well, thanks. I kind of feel like we're on Home Shopping Network right now.
I know, I do too. I'm Suzanne Summers.
This is the great value. If you call now, you can get the whole series. Yeah. This one is a flock of starlings. So
that's like very moving. I like that.
yeah. And then I brought some stickers for you guys. If you guys see me at a show, yeah, ask me for a sticker.
Ooh, we love
always
stickers.
got some. Yeah.
I think I have one of these too already. Well, thank you for showing all this stuff to us. I really like your work a lot.
Well, thank you.
As you can see, I'm wearing one of your shirts. I wore it on the Death Cat show too. You guys probably noticed. So what is your what was the most fun or your favorite thing to create? Or piece, I guess, favorite piece of art that you've created?
It's like always what I'm working on right now is like what I'm thinking about and
Yeah.
what I'm really into. Or even like the next piece after that, like what I'm planning on working on. I don't know. What I find really fulfilling about doing this type of thing is meeting people at events and hearing what they're going through and how things have affected them, and yeah.
Well, that kind of leads into the other question I was going to ask you is what is your favorite thing about being a vendor at events?
Well, yeah, just being out with people, and yeah, meeting people, meeting the other artists. Other artists are always fun. One of the things I miss about art school is just hanging out with a bunch of weirdos.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just, I end up doing a lot of events where there's like 50 or maybe 200 other vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of like creative energy and yeah, just a lot of weirdos having fun. So, yeah.
That's cool. So I get the community and, the artist community essentially is, always something that's like really special. And I mean, I can relate to that as, a filmmaker and like doing this show and being around other creative people is really great. So I guess
I really appreciate your show. Not supporting other creative people in the area, I think is great.
Yeah, thank you so much. I do too. I've really, I've really learned a lot about what's going on in the area, and it's really cool. It's like some of the stuff I already had known about, and I was like really happy to learn more about. But yeah, I've met new people and that I didn't know that were actually doing things that I'm actually digging. So it's like turning out to be like I don't know, like fun for me because I'm getting all this new stuff, like new media and art to consume myself. So yeah, it's good. So what like I wanted to ask you this earlier and I kind of missed. So I'm kind of switching back to like more on your process. I was going to ask you, do you start off with like a pencil drawing, or do you just kind of?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I thought about bringing one of my sketchbooks here today, but it's got it's got a bunch of designs that I haven't had a chance to finish yet. So I didn't want to bring anything that's like top secret, right? So yeah, I start off with a lot of pencil sketches. Even projects that I end up carving start out as drawings, and then somewhere along the line they get transferred onto a block, and then the carving begins. Yeah, right now I'm working on doing some ink drawings. So yeah, there's a lot of pencil sketches that go into it before I even start the inking. So yeah. So
with your ink drawings, is that something you're gonna start selling too, or do you already?
Yeah, I think I'm moving away from doing the block printing.
Okay.
So I'm looking for another way to another medium that will be that won't be too different from the stuff that I've already done.
I see.
So hopefully it'll still have like a medieval look to it. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out.
Cool. I'm excited to see that, how that'll look. So back, I guess, to the going to the events.
Right.
How long have you been doing vending at events?
My 5-year anniversary creeped up on Facebook recently.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been 5 years. The first one I did was a small town art festival. I brought prints of this design, as well as a couple prints of barns and farmhouses. I thought that those would be big sellers.
Yeah.
In a small town, but it ended up like people bought more of the skeleton stuff. So I was like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Wow.
Yeah,
And was that like more the skeletons?
Yeah, that was what I was interested in making. The barns and farmhouses were like, I thought I'd end up selling stuff to old ladies.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be like sofa art.
Yeah.
And and evidently old ladies already have sofa art. So Yeah.
Well, that's really cool. That's like, okay, sorry. Yeah, that's cool. That like you thought that like the thing that you wanted to do wasn't gonna sell, but it actually was. That's probably wasn't like a
This was a
pleasant
piece
surprise.
of art. Yeah, this was a piece of art that I did for myself.
Yeah.
It was really about myself and an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you know, I that goes to show you and show any artist that like when you are true to yourself, that's the stuff that is gonna like hit people, even if they don't know. Because even I said like it has that emotional like edge to it. It's like I didn't know, but you just I don't know. I get that way about art, and people who like art do. So that's cool. It would have been like a huge bummer if you were like, I really love to paint barns and everyone just wants these skeletons.
I've still got barn prints. If anybody wants one, just let me know.
Barn art collectors, you heard him.
Yeah.
What got you into like doing those types of events? Like what I guess motivated you to even do something like that?
Well, I started doing some printmaking and I had all these prints and I figured I might as well sell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you were just like, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
Cool. What are some of the local shows you got coming up this summer?
I've got a ton of shows coming up this summer.
Okay.
All right. I'm just gonna read them off. Are you ready?
We're ready.
All right. So June 25th, I'll be at the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in Kansas City. July 16th, I'll be at the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in Detroit. July 23rd, I'll be at the Oddities and Curiosities Expo in St. Louis. August 13th, I'll be at Crispy Music Fest in Saginaw. August 20th, Oddities and Curiosities Expo in Buffalo. September 8th, I'll be at Crafty Sirens in Cleveland. And September 17th, I'll be at Frankenfest in Detroit.
Oh, wow, those sound like some like fun events. And you're gonna be really busy.
Definitely, yeah.
And you're gonna be just hopping all over the country.
Yeah, all over the Midwest. Yeah.
Yeah, you'll be, is it Kansas City, Missouri?
Yes.
And St. Louis, Missouri. You'll be in New York, Buffalo, New York.
Yeah.
Cleveland. Yeah, wow. And what is the one called in Cleveland?
It's Crafty Sirens.
Crafty Sirens.
It's a new one. They just started.
Yeah.
And it's at a brewery, so it's gonna be an event. Like it might get rowdy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it. I've never been to Frankenfest, but I've wanted to go, and they do one in Lansing too, I think, don't they?
Yeah, the Lansing event is when is it? I think it's the 25th. I think it's June 25th.
Oh yeah, I didn't even know. But yeah, I always wanted to go to that one. That looks fun. And then the Oddities and Curiosities Festival. Are that like ran by the same people all throughout the country?
Yeah, they do 22 of them around the country.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and they're great events.
Mm-hmm.
It's typically like 150 to 200 vendors.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get a chance to go, yeah, they've got a lot of cool stuff.
So other than going and doing these really cool vending events, you also have an online store, right?
Yeah, subversiveimage.com. And I'm also on social media, so I'm Subversive Image just about everywhere.
So you're on Instagram, Facebook,
Twitter.
Do you have a Twitter? Do you have a TikTok?
I do. I've been rather negligent with my TikTok.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've got one, so.
TikTok's the new like hot thing, and I downloaded the app and then I deleted it. I got too intimidated and deleted it. But good on you for having one. So go follow Subversive Images. Go look at his website, and if you're in any of the cities that he mentioned that he's going to be at, go check out those events. And once again, I'd like to thank my guest, Jeff from Subversive Image, for being here tonight and telling us and showing us all your cool work.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
You're very welcome.
I really appreciate it. Thanks.
Yep. Good night, guys.